Objectives for this screencast. If we're given mass or volume information about a reaction and the actual yield, okay, that we will be able to calculate a percent yield of that reaction. What we have been calculating so far is called the theoretical yield. Okay, the theoretical yield is using stoichiometry, and it assumes that the given product can be formed when the limiting reactant is completely consumed, meaning all of the reactants as determined by the limiting reactant are converted to the desired product. In reality, in industry, there's a lot of other things that can go on, different side reactions. You can use yield. You can use that. I'm at school, by the way. Anyway, so the maximum amount is not going to actually be produced in industry, okay, in a chemical plant. Okay, the actual yield is the amount of product that's actually produced, hence the term actual yield. Okay, and it's usually less than the maximum expected. It's almost always less than the maximum expected. Very seldom do you get 100% yield. There's always something that's lost somewhere within the system. Okay, so the percent yield is the actual amount of a given product as a percentage of the theoretical yield. Okay, so the actual yield here has to be either measured during the experiment or given as part of the problem. The theoretical yield here is what is calculated using stoichiometry. That's what we've been doing this entire unit. Okay, so you take the actual yield divided by the theoretical yield, multiply it by 100%, and you get the percent yield. Okay, so if we look at this problem that we did in the previous screencast, 10 grams of A with 10 grams of B, hopefully you remember that we produced 8.33 grams of carbon. Okay, it was a limiting reactant problem. We identified B as the limiting reactant, and we calculated that if when all of B reacted with excess A, we produced 8.33 grams of carbon. What if we actually produced 7.23 grams of carbon in the lab? Then what would our percent yield of the reaction be? Well, using our earlier equation, that percent yield is equal to the actual yield over the theoretical yield times 100%. We would take that 7.23 grams of carbon, divide by 8.33 grams of carbon, and multiply by 100%, and we would get as our percent yield in our calculator, we would get the 7.23 divided by 8.33 times 100, and I would get 86.8% yield. And it really is as simple as that.